Hello, everyone. Happy Motivational Monday. My name is Kira. I am your host, and I am so excited to have you here with us for another Motivational Monday in our spiritual growth month, which I'm so excited for. One of you said that you love this song. I'm going to send it in the chat for you. It's Dopamine by Trevor Hall. He's hands down one of my favorite artists. And I don't know if any of you are like me. It's interesting. I say this sometimes when I'm in conversations with friends. I don't have an addictive personality, but I do have an obsessive personality. So if I find something that I love, whether it's um, something even like spiritual growth, my spiritual journey, once I opened up into the realization that this world is beautiful and spiritual, I just dove head first and I just love to gobble up the information. And same thing with music. If I find a song that I love or an album that I love, I just gobble it up and love it with my whole heart. So this album, Threads by Trevor Hall, is one of my favorite, and it's been one of those that I can play if I'm happy, if I'm sad, or anything along those lines, and it is incredibly helpful and amazing. So I just dropped it in the chat for you. I want all of you who are here to drop in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10 how you're feeling today. I just want to get a pulse check. I want to know where you're at. I want to know what's going on, how you're feeling. Okay, so lots of sevens. Interesting. We've got some eights, some sevens, lots of names that I'm used to. You know what? I am pretty much. I think overall I would be a seven-ish. I'm a little bit emotional today, grieving some things in life, so I'm like a six emotionally, but overall I'm pretty happy with life. It's a beautiful Monday. It's raining, but it's nice and gorgeous just to be alive and existing. So that's pretty much a nine. So maybe we're just pretty 70. We've got a nine in the chat. So beautiful. So I wanted to just get a little pulse check for us to get an understanding of where we're at, how we're feeling. Some of you may be new to Motivational Monday. We created Motivational Monday with the intention of making your Mondays matter and a little bit more meaningful. And the reason why is because we wanted, well, there's a statistic, and the statistic says that if you're going to have a heart attack, you're most likely to have it on a Monday morning. And that made me pretty sad. Um, and I was like, okay, well, if that is the day that most people are feeling so stressed and going through a catastrophic life event, let's make it matter. Let's bring a good conversation, some good people, a good level of awareness so that they can continue to think and grow throughout the week and so that Monday can be something that they look forward to instead of something that they don't enjoy. So it was really exciting to be able to birth this, and it's been, oh my God, almost 2 years, I think, of Motivational Monday. So that is the reason why we created what we did. We are in our spiritual growth month, which is a really exciting month because a lot of you see our guides specifically for spiritual growth. I love the topics of spirituality, indigenous practices, all of that, but that's me as Akira. So then to find that our members and life guides were using life guides for spirituality was amazing. So it's really exciting to have this conversation and to see that in life guides, that's what people are looking for. But also, 74% of Americans have a desire to grow spiritually. So, spirituality is a broad human experience concerning the search for meaning, purpose, and connection to something larger than ourselves. And I feel like sometimes we can just focus on ourselves and our own world, but it's so much nicer to see the deep interconnectedness of everything. So today's conversation, we are doing it with Aaron. He is one of our guides here at Life Guides, and he is actually going to be leaving. This is his last time at Life Guides, and this is his last day at Life Guides. This is the last event that we're doing. So some of you have maybe come to know and love him. I adore him. But this is our last session, and we're going, not last session for Motivational Monday, but last session with Aaron, and we're going to be talking about how to win in life with spirituality. I'm just as sad as you all are as well, but I'm also just as excited for him as I am sad, and we can grieve it all together and navigate it all together. So, with all that being said, we have the beautiful Aaron here. He has done quite a few events with us. He's grown with us in many different ways. And he's going to be talking about how to win in life with spirituality. So, Aaron, as we're coming into the conversation today, I One, I think I want to know what your definition of spirituality is as someone who's been on your spiritual journey. And then I also want to hear a little bit about what winning means to you and how you've won through life with spirituality as well.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me on this team, Kira. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you for everybody who's out there watching. As Kira said, yes, it is my last merry-go-round with everyone, but the party does not stop here. But to get things started, to me, spirituality, in a nutshell, is learning about yourself. Because everybody does have a spirit, and spirituality isn't a thing. So, but most people don't understand that we learned everything about ourselves outside of ourselves, stars, sportscasters, TVs, news, events. But when's the last time you actually studied yourself? So, to me, spirituality is the study of yourself. And how do you win with spirituality? Well, how do you win in life? By discovering who you truly are. How do you walk? How do you talk? What is your zodiac signs? What is your numerology? How do you breathe? What do you like? What's your love language? Where did you come from? How am I going to win in life if I know about everyone else, all my jobs, all my resources, all of this? But how does the person you are in this body operate? And when you learn all about yourself by pausing the outside world and finding out who you truly are, that is when you can discover how you win because you move differently from everybody else. Kira wins because she knows who she is. She found her strengths and her weaknesses, which brought me on board. And I started to win by learning about myself. I can do things that you all can't, but you all can do things that we cannot. And that is how you win.
It is really fun to look at how we're all individuals, and the conversation around spiritual growth is so much fun because we do have societal norms that have been set for us and expectations that a lot of us live by. There's a very small definition of what we've been told that life is supposed to look like, but for a lot of us, we feel like we're meant for something different. And it could be we're meant for something different by just a degree, or it could be we're meant for something different by an entire dimension. Who knows? It's up to you to know and explore and find out. But I'm curious for those of you who are here and listening, drop 111 in the chat if you feel like you were made for something more than maybe what you were told is like normal or expected. I had to go through my own levels of exploration in myself. I had to learn that, yes, I was abiding by the standard metrics of success, the standard metrics of what a good life looks like. I had immigrant grandparents who told me to work hard and save money and all of the things. And I did it. And I remember getting to, it was like 20, 22, 23. I got to the top of my goals that I wanted. And I realized I wasn't happy. And it was the first time that I had the realization of, oh, wow, I am meant to do so much more. And I could have either shut that out and continued to operate in the lane that I was operating in, or what I did was I decided to see, okay, maybe I can do something different. I already did it the way that everyone told me to do. I don't like it. What do I do now? And that's where the fun part of the journey comes in. And a lot of you have that same feeling of feeling like you are here for something more. So I I I'm so excited that we get to have this conversation. I'm also so excited that so many of you know that you're made for more. You mentioned some of the tools, Aaron, but I feel like I want us to dive deeper into some of them. What are some of those tools that you'd suggest people use to find their own inner direction so that they can have their own compass that points to what their own North Star and what their true winning is? And for those of you who are here, winning in life doesn't necessarily mean winning a game or making the most money or having the biggest house. Winning in life means knowing exactly who you are and choosing to thrive with who you are, not with who everyone told you to be. So, yeah, can you take us through some of the tools, Aaron?
Absolutely. And this is the most important part because we can talk about spirituality all day and life changes, but if we don't have the proper tools, we cannot drive that wonderful car that's called your body. So I'm going to go through a few tools, but the first one I'm going to introduce is very easy for everyone. But first, I have a question. If you've heard of meditation, please drop 111 in the chat. If you've never heard of meditation, please drop 222. Awesome. Now, let me ask you this. If you do meditation, drop 333. If you've never done meditation, drop 444. And I see a lot of 333, so that kind of just answers my question. So, one of the number one tools that you want to use in life in order to succeed is slowing life down by meditating. Now, most people probably think meditation is I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to get in a yoga position. I'm going to do this and say Nam Yoho Renge Kyo and all this other stuff. That is true, but don't go to that high experienced level. Okay. Don't think you need 30 minutes to an hour, a place of meditation and Zen. I'm not saying it's not important, but literally, you can meditate in your car, in the shower, in the bathroom, when you're drinking coffee. Meditation isn't about the proper place. Meditation literally is basically saying, because again, you got to look at the word med, just like medicine. Meditation is you stopping what's going on to regulate your nervous system. Because if your body's not in check, if your nervous system is not in check, then you will not be able to win in life. So, simple task. Meditation is definitely the number one tool that stops you from looking at the outside world and pausing to get a chance to go through what you're going through. Because if you're angry, if you're upset, if you're dealing with something that you're always, because we have a tendency to seek for outside help. Why can't I do this? Why is this going on? Why? You're all over the place. Stop. Take a moment and breathe and literally find out what's causing all this stress and frustration. And when you do that, you'll go to the next level. So, meditation is one. Another thing that you can do, a tool of learning about yourself, is there's numerology. Now, if you haven't heard of numerology, that is kind of a tricky one, but you can look it up. Numerology is the study of numbers, and it also is the study of yourself because everybody has a number connected to who they are by their birth date and their name. When you discover your numerology chart, it lets you know what number you're connected to and how you operate. Another one is astrology. And I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of astrology, but we have a tendency to just say, oh, I'm one zodiac sign. No, the astrology chart lets you know how you operate in all areas of your life. So you can look into your natal chart, which is free. When you look into that, you discover all aspects of yourself. And the last one I'll give you is called human design. And human design is an awesome one as well, too, because it lets you know how your body actually functions. Just like how you know you have to use the bathroom without question, you don't question it. Your body lets you know. Well, there's other parts that your body lets you know as well when it comes down to making decisions. So, all these different tools, again, you can look them up, you can utilize them and baby step them. That's exactly what I did or my 8 year journey where I lost everything. These tools that I'm teaching you, I use them and it helped me to discover the best version of who Aaron is. And now I don't need to seek outside validation because I've learned to actually go within.
So beautiful. These are some very fundamental tools. And I also want to say that it's also a lifelong journey as well. So even with Aaron talking about meditation and, the idea that I have to chant on the top of a mountain for 5 days straight for that to be meditation, maybe that's not even a place you want to get to in your life. Maybe all you want is to just quiet your mind and understand what's happening on the inside. And that's the basis of meditation, is just understanding what's happening. And then people don't like meditation for the fact that they sit with themselves and they realize that their mind is just a muddled mess of thoughts. And you guys can drop 444 in the chat if you know exactly what that feels like. But we also live in a fast-paced, productive consumerism society that has ingrained that in us. So most of us are going to feel that feeling, and understanding that that's the undercurrent of what's running your life is really important. Being able to look at it and assess those thoughts is so important. But then also being able to be like, and I'm okay with it. Maybe if I sit here for 20 seconds longer, I'll find a little sliver more of peace. And it can be as simple as that. And I want, as we're talking about spiritual growth this month, for you to find that level of simplicity and to find what it means to you and to not expect yourself to be an expert at things. Numerology is really cool. It can tell you the type of personality that you have, the way that people perceive your energy. Astrology can tell you so much about yourself. There's so many different layers of who we are, the way that we show up. And then human design is also, it's one of the newer modalities and it's based on deconditioning yourself. So human design looks at what are the ways that we've been normalized as a society and what are the ways that we can individuate and honor our energy and the way that we work throughout the world. So these are all ways to know ourselves more and to start to recalibrate our own internal compass to say, okay, I want to, or I am meant to move in this direction. I have spent so much of my life negating this thing that has been calling to me. And now I have the tools and the resources and the insight and the trust within myself to start taking a step in that direction. And even though Aaron is not one of our mentors in Life Guides after today or starting today, um, he's a great indicator of what our life guides can support you with. Aaron has been with us for, well, him and I have been working together for almost a year and a half. And he's helped countless people start navigating who they are and understanding what matters to them and helping them grasp who they are outside of who they thought that they should be. So we have guides who can help you on this journey as well. You don't have to do it alone. And in a very individual lone wolf society, it can be very easy to do things alone, but I've had my massive growth as a person. The places where I've just expanded beyond my wildest dreams have always come from the support from others. So that's my little life guides plug as we're talking about spiritual growth this month, because you do not have to do it alone. So, Aaron, obviously, I just said a lot, but obviously tell us if you have anything to follow up with that. But I also have a question for you of like, what are some of those telltale signs that we're on the right path versus what might it look like if we're not on the right path?
Absolutely. And yeah, just like Kira said, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Okay. I know in life, especially with social media, we have a tendency to look at everybody else's life and compare. Everybody does it. Oh, they're a 22-year-old and they're a millionaire. What am I doing wrong? Oh, they're able to do this and they started their business from nothing. What am I? Don't do that. Okay? Because when everybody's eating the same meal from the same plate, but if you're busy looking at other people enjoy their meal, you miss out on your own delicious offering. It took me 8 years to become this person with losing everything. And my whole goal is I don't want it to take 8 years for others. It took me 8 years because I was that lone wolf. I literally had to do everything on my own. I had a support system, but in terms of learning who I was the only person in my family and my friends who knew about spirituality. So I could not turn to anybody. I could not talk to anybody. But over time, because I had to find out that everything came from within here, it allowed me to do what I needed to do. So don't do it alone. Everyone around you can help, especially with life guides, but also know that you're on that right track. Now, here's some of the telltale signs on how you can know that you're on the right track. Everybody has feelings. Pay attention to how you feel. Everybody has feelings. Pay attention to how you feel. Now, I know that can seem like what are you talking about? Here's how you know you're on the right track, okay? And again, I've discovered this with my human design, okay? You know how you're doing something and it brings you so much joy and time stands, it just flies by. You're just like, oh my God, I can do this all day. When you feel excellent, when you're feeling awesome and it lights you up, that means you're on the right track to doing what you need to do. Like, for example, the reason I got this, everybody is making fun of in a good way, my TED Talk mic. This makes me feel good. I am a talker. When I talk, I feel absolutely wonderful. So I'm literally saying, let me do things that's going to get me to the level that allows me to be a speaker. So when I'm speaking, I feel absolutely amazing. Growing up, people used to say, Aaron, you talk too much. It used to make me feel bad because I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. But once I stopped and realized, wait a minute, I'm a Gemini on so many different levels. Every time people who are the right people listen to me speak, they say, wow, I needed to hear that. So when I stop listening to what everybody else says, I don't like it when you do this, this, and this, and this. It doesn't matter what people like. Okay. It matters how you feel. So when you're doing something that makes you feel good, that's how you know you're going in the right direction in life. If you're doing something and it's bringing frustration, and I'm going to mention jobs, how many of us are working a job to where we're like, well, it pays the bills, it does what it needs to do, but you're not happy? That means that you're not going in the direction that you need to be at. Now, I'm not saying quit your job, but while you're in the midst of having that job, why not go on a self discovery and ask, what is it that you like to do? Because your job is what you do in order to help you make money, but maybe it's a painter. Maybe it's an artist. Maybe it's a comic. Maybe it's watching or creating films or whatever it is. This is why we say when you stop and really ask yourself, what is it that brings you joy? Not what brings you money right now, but what brings you joy? Well, I like doing this. Well, start finding ways to be able to do that little by little. And that's what's actually going to get you away from that. Because if you burn yourself out making money at something you don't like to do, and one day it gets snatched away from you, like my job did, I got fired and I didn't have a backup plan. And I was forced to literally be like, go in this direction. And once I started to go in that direction of what I've loved, doors started to open up on so many different directions. So pay attention to how you feel. Ask yourself how you feel, and you will start to get the answers.
It's really interesting because we have been taught how to negate that feeling. And it's really important for us to learn how to honor and trust that feeling. For some of us, the it can feel different. For some of us, it might feel like satisfaction. For some of us, it might feel like success. For some of us, it might feel like peace. But there's going to be a positive emotion that drives you. And there's going to be some sense of like shift activation inside of you that tells you exactly what you're here for. So, Aaron, we have just a few more minutes here. I was hoping that you could take us through an exercise to help us be able to start to feel what that shift can look like so that we can understand the difference between what's our true north and what's the north that we've been told. How do we feel what feels good to us versus how do we just live the lives that we've been told to live? Um, and yeah, can you take us on a little journey?
Of course, absolutely. So, before I take you on a journey, I just want to remind you of everyone, you are feeling what you're feeling because what you're thinking. Okay. A lot of you all, if you've never really stopped to ask yourself, what am I thinking? That's what's causing your reaction to how you feel. And I know how it is. This bill is due. I got to take care of this. This is not good. The brain is going all over the place. And when you don't learn to stop and take control of it and breathe, it becomes an issue. So if you're feeling a certain way, 9 times out of 10, it's because where is your brain? And I've learned this wherever, like your present moment right now, I'm in a room, I'm talking to you all. In this present moment, I love what I'm doing. But sometimes a lot of you all have a tendency to be here, but you're not here because you're like, as soon as I get off this call, I got to do this, I got to do this. That's what's causing that emotional breakdown. And just so you know, wherever you put your focus, that's where you're going to go. So, challenge yourself by focusing only on what it is that you want, and you'll go in that direction. All right. So, quick, here's what we're going to do. if you're able to, because I don't know what everybody's doing, whether you're driving or doing whatever, but if you are able to, I want everybody to close their eyes, okay? And as you close your eyes, we're going to go through a quick meditation and breath work that allows you to get to that great feeling, because how you feel is what's going to lead you in that direction. So if you're able, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to just breathe in through your nose very slowly, hold it for about 2 seconds, and then release outwardly through your mouth. Closing your eyes is cutting off the outside world. If you can't see anything, you can't go through anything, and it forces you to go within. Take another deep breath in through your nose very slowly because you're taking in air, energy, oxygen, the euphoric way of life. Hold for a few moments and release it with a good breath. And as you are breathing, I want you to breathe normally. What are you thinking right now? When you think about what you're thinking, how is it making you feel? That's step number one. Are you upset? Are you anxious? Are you mad? Are you happy? Are you joyful? Because what you're paying attention to what's going on in your mind is literally going to put you in that space. Now, let's say you're in a position, and again, I want you to just focus on your breathing and listen to my voice. If you're in a negative space right now, it's okay because we identified where you are by what it is that you're thinking. I want you to shift your thoughts to what it is that's going on that you want. If you want more money, visualize money coming into your hands, into your pockets, into your life. If it's relationship issues, visualize you having peace with your partner or visualize someone coming into your life. Whatever it is that's in the negative mindset, just switch and visualize you actually having that wonderful experience because that mind shift is going to draw those things to you. The power of the mind is whatever you're thinking, you pull that into your reality. And now that you know this, you can do this for 1 minute. You can do it for 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long rodeo, but closing your eyes, breathing, and asking yourself, how do you feel? And why do you feel this way? You identify it and you can say, I want to change the channel. So as you're breathing, visualize the euphoria, the house, the car, the relationship, all those different things. And on a count of three or count of five, I want you to open up your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Open up your eyes. And in the chat, let me know how you feel after you just did that meditation. And if you feel calm, amazing, great, euphoric, or whatever it is, like I said, if it's terrible stuff, now you know how to identify those things. But when you switch it over and you start thinking about the things, how you feel is going to bring that outcome. So quiet the mind, find out what's going on, find that inner peace by breathing. It resets your nervous system and allows you to get to that next level.
So wonderful. I always feel so great. And it's funny, some of you said in the beginning that you've never meditated. We've done meditation and breath work and all of it on Motivational Monday for quite a few months. And, maybe maybe you didn't realize that taking just 60 seconds is a meditation. Maybe you had a higher expectation of what it is, but I, I will tell you that at the very least here and now, and you've done it. Now you know. Now you understand how easy it is. There was a great question in the chat, and I want to read it, but it's also there's a much deeper answer than what we can provide since it's already exactly noon on the dot, and a lot of you have to pop off. But when it comes to truth, the mind versus emotions felt in the body, what are we suggesting the emotion is the truth? The mind isn't the truth. I can tell you that. There is a, we get into a lot of deeper layers when we start separating emotions from sensations and feelings from sensations. And there's a lot that comes into it, but understand that a lot of the rumination that goes on up here isn't necessarily the truth. If your chest is constricted, feel that sensation and you can understand the emotion behind it, but there's going to be sensations in your body that tell you that there's something stuck. And then there might be an emotion that lives beyond that. I cannot do a perfect job at explaining all of this. Eckhart Tolle is really wonderful if you want to read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or Tolle. I forget how his last name is spelled or pronounced, but he would be able to help you dive significantly deeper into understanding all of that for yourself. So, thank you for such an expansive question, Scott, and one that we can't even expand beyond in the appropriate ways in this conversation. But I hope that this continues a deep dive for you and many others as well. Thank you all so much for being here and for trusting us on your journey. Give Erin a wonderful, big, happy, healthy goodbye. And there's a survey that pops up at the end as soon as you close out. If you'd like to fill it out and leave any love letters for Aaron, I will make sure that they get to him. Thank you so much, Aaron, for all of the work that we've done together. I appreciate you more than you know.
Thank you so much for allowing me to have these last moments here. And again, for everybody out there, you're already on the right track, whether you believe it or not. So keep going and keep prospering. And I'm super proud of you. Whether we haven't met or not, we already know each other. So thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Happy Monday. May this continue to breathe life into your entire week, and we will see you next Monday.